So I put this is about e-commerce. I put Mike and I because we're here, and then I had to give Amy a shout out credit by putting her name on the slide, because without her we wouldn't have gotten this done. She was instrumental, so I felt she deserved some recognition for that. So I don't even remember what okay.
Yeah.
So what is e-commerce, first of all? E-commerce is the ability to pay a fine or a fee block with a credit card. That's kind of the definition as it applies to Horizon and the catalog for the most part. A lot of this is done primarily through the online catalog, but there are 2 locations.
Yep, 2 locations.
That are using the Selfchecks. And they're both here.
They are both here.
Yes.
Wait, raise your hand.
So
Bear Bolton.
Red Wing.
Yep, and Red Wing, yep.
So.
No.
Okay, so what were we doing before? Because this has been a change. On December 4th, I sent an email out that said there was a minor change. Hopefully you all saw that. And there was a little information on the website. There was a training link included on that. So what we were doing before December 4th was we had a third-party solution because the HIP catalog, the old one, and Aqua Browser didn't have embedded e-commerce as part of the software. So we were using a third-party solution called Envisionware, and that was the Pay It Now button that you probably remember seeing.
And something to point out that with enterprises, this really became possible because of enterprises' ability to do more embedded web services. With Envisionware, that was a hosted solution with servers we had to build here at Selco. Yeah. So credit card information was coming through our building, which of course meant that we did our best to be PCI compliant. If you know what PCI compliant is, there's kind of rules and guidelines as to how to be secure when you're dealing with credit card information. And those rules are not by any means solid. They change them all the time. And that creates a lot of headache for us. It's a moving target. Sorry.
No, go ahead. So yeah, like Mike was saying, we were maintaining 2 servers here to host Envisionware and the PCI charge.
The PC charge.
Yeah.
And what's funny is that changed. At the beginning, they told us to use 1 server, and then this is a perfect example of PCI compliant changes. Use 1 server. No, we don't want 1 server. Now do 2 servers. And separate. And so it was constantly a headache for the back end.
So basically what that boils down to is that we were storing some credit card data here, and we don't want to be storing credit card data here.
No one wants to store that information.
So not even, Target or Home Depot. So
yeah, it's kind of scary when you're like, having to try and be PCI compliant and do Envisionware, because that's the solution we had to do with Aqua Browser, and then you see Target and Home Depot down the street, and you're like, not us.
So right. So like Mike said, now what we're doing is we're using the online catalog. This was a functionality of an enterprise that did help make enterprise far more appealing for us, and we were able to set up. So now using enterprise, all the payments don't come here, they go through PayPal. So it's really great for us because we don't have to have those 2 servers. We don't have to worry about PCI compliance. But it's really great for patrons too, because it's all embedded right in that My Account information. So it's much more streamlined. And PayPal is much...
They have better resources to be PCI compliant than we do, and it's a case of why should we reinvent the wheel, especially when the wheel is constantly changing between oblong and round and square and triangle.
So do you want to talk about the Selfchecks?
Sure. Okay. So the Selfchecks, however, were not going to go through PayPal as much as we hoped they were. They were not, and so we talked to Centec, who is our value-added service. Maybe I'll skip this part till I get there.
Sorry. Okay.
You jumped me ahead, but go ahead.
Nope, sorry. Okay, I'll go and then
you go.
We'll have to take this act on the road. So PayPal is embedded in Enterprise. It is in My Account. There is a training video that hopefully you saw. Is it control click? No, okay.
You got it.
So it's right there. It's on the Selco site. and it walks you through how to do PayPal in my account. It's really or streamlined, I should say. It's really, really nice. The best part about it that Envisionware didn't let you do is it will email you a receipt. And so that's really nice to have that.
Because then patrons get confirmation that the payment went through immediately.
And the confirmation is also being emailed to Amy.
Yep.
So it takes it out of the techie side and puts it into the finance side, which is really important.
Where before, with Envisionware, as Randy can attest, when Randy would contact the help desk, because today's Pick on Randy Day, he would ask, can you verify this transaction? And sure enough, then Gina would go on the server, run through granulous code of log files to find the transaction. And of course, because Envisionware was about as solid as Humpty Dumpty on the wall, whenever she did this, we usually had to reboot the server, and it was a pain. Now, as the patrons get emails, then so does Amy, and Amy will be able to confirm that, plus she can run reports.
So Enterprise with PayPal has been set up for all of you. It was relatively easy. It just required setup per location, and then you multiply that times 90 of you. So it took some time, but it was pretty straightforward to set up. So that's all in your My Account.
And what's nice with PayPal too is patrons are familiar with that. It's not new. But like I said earlier, or as I started to talk about, with the Selfchecks, PayPal wasn't an option. And so we talked to Centech, who does our value-add service for Selfchecks, and we kind of said, look, we hate Envisionware, you hate Envisionware. What do you recommend for other people? What's the best solution? And they pointed us to Authorize.net. And if you're not familiar with Authorize.net, it is exactly that. It is a service, a very secure cloud-based service, much like PayPal, that will do the transactions through it as opposed to going through Selco. And so behind the scenes, nothing really changed except a little more security, and patron information isn't coming through here. And I'm going to show you what the process was before with Envisionware and what it is now with the Selfchecks. So a patron would go up to the Selfcheck and they would pay with their credit card. And the payment information would then be sent over to Selco to talk to Envisionware. Envisionware would then process it and then say, yep, it's paid. In number 2, the green light would come back to the Selfcheck, and the Selfcheck would go, yep, it's paid, and use the SIP connection to talk back to Horizon and remove the block. Now, that might seem simpler than what I'm about to show you, but all the traffic's going through Selco. So again, no, we don't want that. It's lovely, but we don't really want it. So with Authorize.net, the process changes a bit. Basically, Envisionware goes away and Authorize.net completely replaces it. So the payment information, they pay, it goes to Authorize.net, which gives the green light that it got paid, and then of course using the SIP connection, it goes to Horizon. So no credit card information is being transacted to Horizon. This is just a green light that says, block paid, remove the block. That's it. So we don't have any of this information coming into this building, which is secure for us. It's more secure for your patrons. Much, much more easier. And of course, we get to shut off the Envisionware server, and everyone loves that.
Other way, I think. So what does this all mean for you? Well, we've kind of already hit this. Better security, and it's more streamlined. So PayPal is working with Enterprise, part of My Account. There's no third-party solution, and it's better security because we don't have that data here, and we won't be, we can't be as big as Target and Home Depot or Sony, and they get hacked. So just imagine, yeah, you don't want us having that data. We don't want that data. So I think that's it. Anything else you want to add?
Yes, Lisa.
Repeat the question.
We have problems with debit cards. Because credit and debits are different routing numbers.
Yes.
And different things. Does this solve the problem?
Lisa asked a question about debit cards, because debit cards and credit cards are not the same thing with going through the system. I don't think that's going to change per se. Typically with debit cards, most debit cards are debit/credit cards, those should still be okay. A true debit card probably won't work because it's not going to be one of the main ones that they associate with. But like for mine, it's a debit/Visa card, and so those would be fine. Gail.
So if you have the Selfchecks, is this payment at the Selfcheck option something else I have to buy?
Gail, yes. Gail asked a question, if they already have the value-add service SendTech Self-Check, is the credit card payment something extra? And the answer is yes. And as Randy and Lisa can attest, there's an extra component, a card swiper that has to go on the system, and then SendTech has to configure it.
Oh.
But that is an extra cost, which Faribault and Red Wing already. All right.
Art had a question.
Oh, Art, yes.
I think that the question was just answered, but is there a charge then for this service? I mean, are you losing money?
Actually, you asked a good question. Art's asking, is there a charge for the service? This is another point to point out. This was the part Amy was most excited about. It's slightly under what we were paying before. For the cost of Invisuware, for all that stuff, Authorize.net is cheaper. It changes nothing on the back end for what you guys, Amy's going to run all that the same. It actually, without the server maintenance and all that extra stuff, it brings it slightly under what we were paying before.
Yay.
But yeah, it changes nothing on Amy's end for the payments and stuff, so that will remain the same. Excellent question. Tyler.
Is there any change in horizon?
There is, Tyler asked if there's any change in horizon. The only change you're going to see is that instead of it saying in the block history, if someone comes and pays something to you, it lists the login as the person who paid it. When you would pay something on Envisionware, the user for taking payment was ACS. Now it says HZWS for Horizon Web Services. It's just a different call, so yeah.
Any other questions? Going once, twice.
Okay.
Okay.